Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. We are back, but who's coming in? Could we be bringing in the next Dennis Bergkamp? Or maybe the new Thierry Henry? Whoever it is, we'll be keeping you updated here on AFTV every single day from when the window opens on the 14th of June till the 1st of September when the window shuts. Right here on Transfer Daily, the original. Check it out here. Hi and welcome along to the Invincible podcast with my man Lee the Judge. Judge is in the building. How you doing, bro?
Oh, very good, very good.
Not missing the Arsenal yet?
No. It'd be really interesting. It's really interesting, like, to hear people's comments about this. What do they do in the summer now? Because I know some of my mates are already counting down now for the fixtures release. Then, you know, like looking forward to the game. Or you like myself that likes a few switch off summer sports. You know, love me tennis, love me cricket. So I actually enjoy this little break now. I look forward to the season coming back, but I actually enjoy the summer.
Do you know the weird thing about it, right? Is that, like, last few weeks, I've sort of been like, you know, hurry up and finish, man. You know what I mean? It's done. We're not going to win the league and stuff like that. And I was like, when the season finished on Sunday, I was kind of like, yeah, had a good season. Glad it's over now. Chill out for the summer. Come back. But then on Monday, I went down by the ground. I was doing some content filming. No, Tuesday, I think it was. Nice sunny day. I was outside there filming. I was like, I kind of miss it already.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, only 2 days off, so I'm like, I kind of miss it. You know what I mean? There ain't going to be doing no games here now for a couple of months. You know what I mean? But
it is weird because I sit next to Kevin and James, who they live in like Braintree way, like, you know. So, you know, don't get to see them. You see them every week, so you sort of say like, oh right, see you in a couple of months' time. And as you, I don't know if you do this, but as you depart, I always have a little last look at the pitch before going. And I feel like, well, I won't see you for a few months now, like, and you know, but I quite enjoy the break. I got to say that. Listen, this weekend, I know that my weekend, the only person that's going to ruin my weekend is me this weekend if I do something stupid or whatever, like, you know what I mean? But, you know, Mikel can ruin it, you know what I mean, or the Arsenal team can ruin it. You just don't know, do you? Like, or you can have a fantastic weekend when they've won, you know what I mean? So, with that all emotion taken out, I do quite enjoy it.
Yeah, I think, you know what, Arsenal fans, man, we need a little break after the season we've had. And what we're going to do today, actually, is take a little look back at the season that we've had. Just got to run through and remind everybody of the games. We did this, by the way, when we did the live show. Which, by the way, we really, really enjoyed that live show. And we're going to do another one of those very, very soon, probably just before the start of the season. But we did this where what we did is we had a little recap of the season and of the games, because when you sort of go through the season, you kind of forget how the season went and how brilliantly we were doing as well, right? So it was really interesting to kind of look back and take a little look back at the games and how they went and everything like that. Just before we do that, did you get a chance to watch the game, the Sevilla again winning the Europa? What an amazing team Sevilla are.
Yeah.
I know it's always the Europa League, but they've won that now seven times. Seven. When I think about it, right, and I think Arsenal are a much bigger club than Sevilla, and we haven't hardly won anything in Europe, and they've won that 7 times. It just shows you just got some teams that have just got European
pedigree,
innit?
Yeah.
Real Madrid, them, you know, they just got that knack.
Yeah, it's Spanish as well, like, so it's got anything to do with that, like. But yeah, I did watch the game. Absolute awful game.
Terrible game. Mourinho at his very worst.
At his very
everything
worst.
That was bad about Mourinho, you saw in that game. He parked the bus. He got one. It went 1-0 up.
That was a better team when they went until they went.
They were a better team. Started playing well. Dybala scored. Went 1-0 up. Then Mourinho did Mourinho things. Parked the bus, and then I didn't like what he did at the end, where he just went up. This is a typical Mourinho again. Went up, got his medal.
Threw it into the crowd,
right, and just threw it into the crowd, right? And he did it before the even presentation was properly supposed to start. Right?
Yeah. No, I just think like,
this is such a bad loser, man.
Such a bad loser, and you know, listen, Anthony Taylor, I've got my own beefs with him. Don't worry about that. I think he's poor ref. You know what I mean? But I didn't think he'd done nothing really.
I thought he had a very difficult game.
Yeah.
To referee because there's the amount of diving and so, and he got the decisions right. I thought he did all right actually.
Yeah, I didn't think he was that bad. You know what I mean? For Mourinho to criticise him like he did, you know what I mean? I thought it was a little bit unfair. But that's typical him, isn't it? It's typical him. You know what I mean? I actually, I actually said a couple of years ago, I don't think I could dislike Mourinho anymore. And then he took over Spurs, you know what I mean? Like, you know. And talking of Spurs, another couple.
Yeah.
Another couple.
Yeah, Lamella and Brian Hill
have now won a medal. Right, you know what I mean?
Brian Hill, by the way, who's still a Tottenham player, who Conte wouldn't play, who Mourinho wouldn't play either, I think, right? Who's on loan at Sevilla, right? From Tottenham, right? Picked up a medal.
Yeah.
And Lamella, who never won anything in the time that he was at...
That's his first medal.
His first medal, Eric Lamella.
Congratulations, Eric. And a part of me wanted him to win because of that reason. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want Mourinho to win it anyway. But like,
I didn't want him to win it.
But how many players now have left Spurs and then gone on to win things?
I know, it's incredible.
Ericsson, I can off my top of my head, Walker.
Bale.
Bale was the best one because he actually...
Ndombele this year, another player that is on loan from Tottenham. He's on loan from Tottenham at this season, right, at Napoli. He won the league.
Congratulations. Gareth Bale is the best one, by the way.
Yeah.
Because Gareth Bale left Spurs, right, and since he left Spurs, right, he has won a trophy every year. Apart from 1 year when he went back on loan to Spurs.
Yeah.
You couldn't make it up.
Yeah, and even Mourinho, right?
Mourinho's won. He's won.
He won the Conference League last year with Roma in his first season.
Just thinking, who else?
It's the only club he's never won a trophy at is Spurs.
Yeah. And Conte.
And Conte. The only club he's never won a trophy at.
If I get that Celtic manager, he's a born winner. Enjoy your time up Celtic, son. Like, you know what I mean?
They'll ruin him as well.
It's incredible, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you think about players, Modric, obviously, he left Spurs and won.
Modric,
yeah. Who else? It must be.
Loads, man. There's loads. They do put on a good Beyonce concert, though. That's one thing about them.
Well, I actually heard that, like, you know what I mean? Like, and apparently they all stayed more than 20 minutes. You know, I heard that, like, you know what I mean? So.
But yeah, let's have a little look back at the season, right? And do you remember pre-season last year?
Brilliant.
Right, because there was a game in Nuremberg. You went to that, innit?
I went to that. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I think we was 2-0 down or 3-0 down at half
won
time.
At 5-3, and then played. We didn't go to that one. That was when they played Everton.
Yeah.
That was in Baltimore. Orlando, we was at. Beat Orlando 3-1.
Great.
And then remember
Chelsea won. That was the one.
That was the one. We went to that one in Chelsea when they played Chelsea. Arsenal beat them 4-0. Could easily have been 6. Now I know you shouldn't always get overexcited about friendlies because I always say if you lose a friendly, don't get too despondent. If you win a friendly, don't get too carried away because it's a friendly.
But it's important. I still say it's important.
It's not, a proper game. But what I saw when they played Chelsea, when you really think about it, Lee, that was literally a predictor for the season for both teams.
100%.
When you think about it, when you go back to it, that 4-0 victory over Chelsea, because I remember we were there and we were saying, wow, Arsenal looks so fit, so strong, so sharp. And then we were like, Chelsea look off it, man. They look laboured. They look off it. And that's how the season turned out.
And it's been like that the other way round because we was prepared and all that. We bumped. Do you remember we bumped into Darren Lewis? The journalist who was actually following the Chelsea tour when we was over there. We bumped into the airport, and he turned around and said, "Oh, it's pre-season, but Arsenal look really on it." And when you look back at that game, we was all saying we turned around and said like, are we really good or Chelsea that bad? Like, and we was all saying like. And people then predicting how well we was going to do. We had sort of an insight where other people didn't. We sort of said Arsenal going to do really well this season.
Yeah, because we were all over there in Florida, and that's what we were saying. That we were sort of saying.
We felt it.
Do you know what? For the first time in a very long time, Arsenal looked prepared.
Yeah, and
they looked ready for the new season.
We also predicted, didn't we? Chelsea weren't going to be as good, but for the first time in a long while, we was then looking forward to the Friday night game.
Yeah,
we was looking forward to the beginning of the season. I know we played Seville, funny enough.
Seville.
And how did we get on the game? 6-0. We beat
Seville.
The Europa League winners. If you'd have said at the end of the day that who's going to win the Europa League.
And actually, when we say don't go too much of a pre-season, right? I mean, I know they won the Europa League, but they finished 11th in La Liga. We
smashed them that day. Do you remember that? We 5-0 up after about 10, 15.
And again, you just saw the sharpness of players like Jesus and there was a lot of excitement starting to build around Arsenal. But we faced that first game of the season away at Crystal Palace, a really tricky fixture. It was a Friday night kickoff. They'd done the same thing the year before.
Yeah.
And that was the game when we lost to Brentford. And I think the TV company said to themselves,
have some more.
Here's another one. We can do that again. Away at Crystal Palace, Arsenal lost there last year. It's going to be a really tough ask. And I remember Arsenal, it was a Friday night, first game of the Premier League, the very first game of the Premier League, Arsenal. And Arsenal went there, won 2-0 and put in a really accomplished, excellent performance. They were sharp, they were fit, they were at it, played out from the back. This looked like a really well-oiled machine. And it was straight away that all of us were sort of like, hey.
Yeah. We said it, didn't we?
This could be a decent season.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be a decent season then. Saliba, it was the first time a lot of the fans had seen Saliba. We'd been fortunate enough to see him. We knew how good he was. And it was the case of we was a little bit weak in midfield. We was all saying we still need to strengthen and that. But if we could get off to a good start, keep injury free, we was in for a good season, and that was the start of it. Like good, solid performance, 2-0. Can't ask for better than that.
Yeah, followed up with a 4-2 victory over Leicester at home. Maybe that was a warning sign as well. Number one, that we warning sign for Leicester because we actually spanked them, but also a warning sign that how we conceded goals at home. Because I remember that game, it was such a one-sided goal, but they still one-sided game, but they still nicked 2 goals. We went away and played Bournemouth, beat them 3-0.
I remember that game because I was on the plane when I had to go on holiday, had to. But
another trip.
But another
trip away.
And it was a great thing because when we got there at the airport, they said there's a delay. I said, oh, thank God for that. Everybody's moaning and groaning, but it meant we could watch the game. So we was actually watching the first half on the plane, and then we're going to be another 10 minutes, and people are getting frustrated. We're saying, oh, great. And then we actually flew off. We was 2-0 up at the time, and then as we landed, we put it on with loads of Arsenal fans. It's fantastic. As soon as it's saying it was 3-0, the whole plane cheering and all that. It was great.
Brilliant.
Great.
Beat Fulham 2-1. I remember I was impressed by Fulham on that day.
Yeah, we went 1-0. Do you remember Gabriel made the mistake?
Gabriel made that mistake. But we beat them. And then
Villa
beat them 2-1.
Joke decision. Do you remember that Ramsdale? 100% foul, but they couldn't wait to give it. Yeah. And that was with about 5 minutes to go, and we nicked one right at the end.
Douglas Luiz, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then I think Martinelli got a winner. Right at the end.
Went away to Man United. And we beat them, lost 3-1.
Again,
but remember, that was a game in another controversial decision. That was the Martinelli
goal, which was a goal.
Yeah. And also, I think that Lisandro Martinez could possibly have been sent off right at the start of the game as well. But it didn't go our way. But again, we all left the game saying, you know what?
Yeah.
Arsenal played well. Even United fans were like, hey, we're a bit fortunate there, mate. You got away with that.
We did play really well that game.
United fans were like, hey, you lot look decent.
Frustrating that was.
Yeah, back to the league.
Big game this.
Went away to Brentford.
No Odegaard. Do you remember we got? And Odegaard weren't in the side. We played the young kid come on as a 15-year-old.
Yeah, and Ranieri. Yeah, and we beat Brentford, who at the time were really doing well. Remember, they'd smashed Man United.
Yeah.
Right, beat them 3-0. That was a really impressive. Again, and we avenged the defeat away to them from the previous year. And that, again, it was another very impressive performance. Because if you to go and look at what Brentford did, this season. They really took some massive scalps at home, including Man City. I think Liverpool, didn't they?
Beat Spurs away.
Yeah, so...
did you say massive scalps? Sorry.
Well, talking to Spurs, that was the next game. We beat Spurs 3-1 again. Another pretty impressive performance.
It was very impressive. I remember we was 1-1 at half time and a bit annoyed about it because we should have been like up, and you're thinking, and they come out second half and tore them a new one that second half, and it's always nice to see the away end empty with about 10 minutes to go. Lovely.
Then Liverpool.
Great
Liverpool
game
at home.
Great game.
Yeah, great
was Liverpool
game.
Straight after Spurs?
Yeah, I mean, there's Europa League games in between.
Oh, right, yeah, but League games. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, remember that, like with some of these games, we were looking at it and thinking, hey,
that's Man United, Brentford away,
Tottenham at home,
Liverpool
at home. That's a tough little period, but beat Liverpool 3-2. And
that was a great game, by the way.
That was a great game.
I thought Liverpool were at their best.
They played well.
They was at their best. They had a little bad spell after that because they lost a few injuries.
Yeah,
but that was a good performance. That was a good game of football. Yeah. And we come out on top on that one.
Yeah. Remember the next game now, we went away to Leeds.
Oh, remember that
game? Remember the Power Cup?
Power Cup.
We was there in the ground and
we didn't know what was going on.
We didn't know what was going on. People at home watching it on TV knew what was going on.
Yeah,
and they were texting people and telling them what's going on. But we didn't know what was going on. And for ages, there was no power at the game, so they couldn't play because they couldn't get the VAR done. There's no cameras or certain things weren't working. And then there was rumours going around.
They were going to call it off, weren't they?
Yeah, we was in the game and they're like, people were on their phones going, just a rumour and they might
call this off.
Call the game off. And we're like, what? We've driven all this way.
Yeah.
And they're going to call the game off. What?
Julian was moaning because he didn't like the stadium, didn't he?
He moans about everything.
The seats weren't quite lining up or something, There's something he was moaning about.
But the game did eventually get underway. And I'll tell you, that was
toughest away game?
Tough. Yeah, probably one of the toughest away games because they put us. I remember we went 1-0 up.
Great goal by
Saka. And then in the second half, they put us under. And that is a very hostile stadium when they're on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they put us under, and we're a bit fortunate really to get away.
We was actually praying it. But the best thing about that day, do you remember the best thing about that day? We come out and we met Jermaine Beckford.
Oh yeah, met Jermaine Beckford,
and he slagged off Julian. Well, that is absolute quality, so well done, Jermaine. We appreciate that.
And then away at Southampton.
Oh,
now this team, I don't know what it is.
Glad they've gone. Nothing against them.
They always seem to take points off us, don't they?
Just something about them. I don't.
Yeah. 1-1.
Never like going down there.
Yes.
I don't know why.
It's a bit of a strange ground.
It's a strange place to go to. It's a strange, it's one of those close ones which, if you go Bournemouth and you go Blackpool, you go somewhere nice, you think, this is nice. But there's something not right about Southampton. I can't explain what it is.
South coast without the coast kind of thing.
It's a weird thing. And we never do that well.
We never do well there, and we didn't do well in that game either. And we drew that 1-1.
Some bad decisions again by VAR, I have to say.
Yeah, points dropped. We came back home, beat Nottingham Forest 5-0.
Nelson got a couple there.
Yeah, Reece Nelson with a couple of goals and a very impressive performance by Arsenal. And then we went away, and this was another impressive performance. 6th of November, went away and beat Chelsea 1-0, but it could have been more.
I thought we played dominated that game.
Dominated the game, better team, and beat Chelsea by a 1-0.
Do you know we've won their three games on the spin now?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Can we play there every week?
Yeah, can we? It's lovely.
Right. Next Premier League game, and this was going to be the last.
This is our favourite.
This is going to be the last Premier League game of the actual before the break, before the World Cup.
Yeah, we weren't happy about this, was we?
Yeah, right. And we played Wolves. It was a 7:45 kickoff on a Saturday night. Remember? Actually, it was a nice day, man.
We had a great day.
We had a real great day up there, and it was a great result as well. Arsenal winning by 2-0, and top of the league, and everything looking rosy.
I'll tell you what, we had a great day that day, and I honestly think that day Cecil had a few drinks, and that's when he thought about that T-shirt, like, you know what I mean? But that was the day that he had the T-shirt, because we was top of the league at Christmas. No one could take that away from us.
Top of the league at Christmas, and then after that, you know, I mean, we returned in December after the World Cup. First of all, to the bad news that Gabriel Jesus was going to be out for about 3 months. And we was all wondering to ourselves, well, how's this going to affect Arsenal? Because up until, and let's remember this as well, up until that break and that Wolves game, and I'm sure he scored in that Wolves game as well, didn't he?
No, he created a couple of goals.
He was playing so
it was
well.
Sensational that day.
Goals, assists, just everything about him was just so good. And we were like, how are we going to cope without Gabriel Jesus? Eddie Nketiah came in and he really hit the ground running.
If I remember right, we'd had a few friendlies before that, and we hadn't done that well in those friendlies. I don't know. Like,
we had a friendly against Juventus.
We lost to Juventus.
We won that 2.
No, we beat Milan.
We beat Juventus. We lost to Milan, wasn't it?
No, beat Milan. Lost to. No, we beat Lyon. We didn't do too bad.
We didn't do too bad.
Just so we just lost to Juventus.
Lost to Juventus 2-0, yeah. But then we played Boxing Day, played West Ham, beat them 3-1.
1-0 down at half time.
We were 1-0 down at half time. And then we went away on the 31st of December, New Year's Eve.
Shocking time to play football.
It was a shocking time.
New Year's Eve.
5:30 kickoff as well, I remember that.
You stayed down there? Did you stay down there that night, or did you go?
No, I actually did the studio that day. Because I remember, like...
Oh, I did the studio as well. Who stayed down?
Half of these lot were moaning, oh, I want to go out that night.
Yeah.
Right, so, because it was going to be a late finish, so I said, all right.
So we done the studio that day, yeah.
Because so the guys went to the game because they all wanted to go out afterwards. Remember, they went out to Brighton and that. Right?
Left the oldies at home.
Yeah, but it's a really impressive performance by Arsenal, winning that by 4-2. Shouldn't have conceded those other 2 goals as well. They were so comfortable in the game, and again, another really impressive performance by Arsenal. Then we get into the new year, and again, it was a tough little patch again, because you look at the games coming back straight after the World Cup. It is a month of Brighton, Newcastle, Tottenham, Man United, and we had to play City, but that was in the cup, right? And we coped with it pretty well. We played Newcastle. Newcastle literally parked the bus. Remember that game? They didn't really attempt to win the game. Remember, that was the famous game where the ball was only in play for like less than 90, like half of the 90 minutes. Lots of time wasting by Newcastle fans, which they chose to forget when we played them at their place.
Which I never criticised them for, by the way, because I think the first 10 minutes, you remember that game, first 10 minutes we was fantastic. And credit to Eddie Howe and Newcastle, they changed their tactics and said, well, look, we can't play them like this. We're going to have to go a different route. I quite admired that, if I'll be honest, and took it as a compliment that they'd done it. We just couldn't break them down. Probably should have had a penalty right at the end. VAR didn't bother. They was watching Coronation Street at the time, So but that was a disappointing one. But a little bit of a worry then coming in. But then I think we had who was the next game?
Next game was Tottenham away.
Oh, here we go.
It's one of our best performances of the season, isn't it? To go away to Tottenham, a place that we hadn't won for about 9 years.
That first half, Robbie.
Yeah, first half, brilliant. 2-0. Only disappointing thing is that in the second half, we didn't go and nail a few more goals. They did come at us a bit in the second half, didn't they? They came into it more. But
we changed our... We just sort of we're going to
2-0 comfortable win at White Hart Lane. One of the most impressive performances away from home.
Odegaard, brilliant goal.
Another goal by Odegaard in the game.
I remember Partey shot, the bar was still moving off about 10 minutes after that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
And, the Aaron Ramsdale incident at the end, we didn't really know what was going on. The best thing for me that game... That
was when the fan jumped on the pitch and hit Ramsdale.
Yeah. But the best thing about that game was that above us was his dad, and he was in a box, and he orchestrated the song and all that. The whole of the away end was sort of turned around.
That was a brilliant away day. I loved that.
Just singing the Aaron Ramsdale song, and he was leading it.
Yeah.
And it was just what a fantastic.
Remember after the game, the Tottenham fans.
The Tottenham fans.
They weren't too happy.
And we also we have to forget we met David Ginola's son.
We did.
Lovely lad, and we still keep in contact with him.
And he actually was giving Arsenal a lot of credit. and saying that
unfortunately, you know, we've sort of saying him he should probably be a Newcastle fan, but he supports Spurs. But there you go.
We then followed that up with another impressive win, 3-2 against Manchester United. A last-minute goal by Eddie Nketiah.
2 he got that day.
Yeah, yep. Again, impressive.
That was. I'll tell you what. Again, that was a fantastic game because I tell you what. When you look at you go to the Emirates, there ain't that many teams that really go for it. I'll give credit where teams do, and you know, Liverpool did against us, and Manchester United did that day. They was in. If you remember rightly, they weren't saying it, but if they'd have won that game, they'd have been level on points for us and challenging for the title.
They forget all those things.
They forget all those things, bottling. So they were going for the title at that stage, and they come down to us. And to their credit, and I will give them credit for this, they didn't sort of sit, we'll sit here and hit you on the break. They went for it. Rashford got a great goal. It was a fantastic game of football.
Rashford looking sharp.
He was sharp as a razor then. But we beat a very, very good Man United team that day.
Atmosphere
was electric that game.
Brilliant. We then went away to Goodison Park. 12:30 kickoff, Saturday the 4th of February, my dad's birthday, and we got beaten. We lost 1-0. Remember, that was the first game for Sean Dyche, the new manager bounce. You know, Everton, they fought for everything in that game. And actually, that proved to be a real big win for them when you think they survived.
What date was that?
That was on the 4th of February.
So that's the 4th of February. So from the beginning of the season now to the 4th of February, this is the first time that I had the ump with Arsenal. You know what I mean? The first time. So, you know, credit to that. I was disappointed with that performance. You know, we didn't play well enough. We got bullied, and that was a big blow to us. Big blow.
And then another blow to us was that the following week now we played against Brentford, and drew that game 1-1, and there was a very, very controversial VAR decision in the game, which proved to be a big mistake. Which gave Brentford their goal. The Brentford's goal was offside, but they forgot to draw the lines. Which actually led to the sacking of Lee Mason as a referee.
Rightly so. But no sympathy for him.
Yeah, for a massive mistake when he was doing the VAR, and they actually ended up getting rid of him after that.
Didn't do us any favour.
Yeah, it cost us 3 points in that game. We then, the next game, played Manchester City. Now, Julian was talking about this the other day. And I was doing a watch along on DR the other night, and some people were still having a pop at Julian about this, but he did make a good point. Because what he was saying is that when we was actually supposed to play Man City was sort of earlier on in the season when we were really, really playing well.
I think it's a fantastic point.
And they were kind of all right. They weren't. Listen, they
lost and drawn one.
Yeah, they were still Man City, but they weren't playing as well as what happened when we started to play them now. When all of a sudden now they're getting on this great run and they're playing on form. But even then, it was a self-inflicted defeat. I felt some real schoolboy errors. I remember the one with Tomiyasu. It was at home.
Yeah.
And Manchester City beat us 3-1.
Yeah.
I remember Tomiyasu just
which would have been in, I don't know when it would have been. I can't remember when the Queen died. Was it in September or something?
Yeah, the Queen died. I'm not sure exactly, but it was
in around that time. We would have had Jesus playing that day. Yeah, we would have had Jesus playing.
Yeah.
We would have had our strongest team out that day. I remember the game like we ain't got no Jesus, we ain't got no party in this game, and deservedly. In the end, deservedly beaten. And I agree with Julian. Listen, I think Julian does make some silly points every now and then, but that one was a fair point.
I did like it's like coming second to Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, that was fantastic. We done the live show, right? And he come up and said that it's no disgrace coming second if you was in the Tour de France. And you know what I mean, like, and that's what I actually call Man City now. I call them Lance City now, like, you know what I mean, because of it. But what a great analogy that was.
Yeah. Now, after losing to City went top of the league, and then we faced a really tough away game at Aston Villa. And that's the game when Jorginho announced himself as a Arsenal player.
What a game.
Martinelli as well scoring, and came back twice in that game. Brilliant. Probably one of the best games of the season.
I think it was one of the best games.
One of the best games of the season. Arsenal winning it by 4 goals.
4 goals, and Jorginho gets the praise for that, obviously. But also, I have to say, Aaron Ramsdale made a save just before that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, and it would have made it 3-2.
Yeah. That
was an unbelievable save, and then Jorginho got the goal, and then like Martinelli got the goal right at it. But what a great away day! And I'm going to say this now, like, you know, when people, you know, like Tottenham fans go on about being a big club and all that, like Aston Villa are a massive club, like, you know what I mean? It's a wonderful stadium. They've
Love going there.
Yeah, something about going to Villa Park, isn't there? I've got to say that.
Yeah.
The atmosphere there is as good as anywhere, like, you know. And, you know, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle and Aston Villa, for me, were the 3 best atmospheres this season. They're a massive cut, and what a result. And I'll tell you what, they're very, very nice after the game as well, like, you know.
Not to tie.
Not to tie. Well, he don't help himself, does he? But like, you know, they were very gracious in defeat, considering they lost it in the last minute. But what a great game that was. Fantastic.
Incredible advert for the Premier League, that game. Went away the next week after that, beat Leicester City 1-0. And then avenged that defeat to...
Can I just say something about that Leicester game, right?
Yeah.
Played really well that day, and it probably should have won by more goals. But if you'd have said to me that Leicester would be going relegated after that performance, I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah, they should.
They should never have been in that position from there on. There on in.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, they was playing in the FA Cup against. I think Madison didn't play in that game, and they was playing. I can't remember who they was playing in the cup, but it was a lower league team. They said, "Oh, we're resting Madison for the FA," and they got beat in that FA Cup game. And from that moment on, down they went.
Fell apart. We avenged the defeat to Everton by beating them 4-0 at home.
Yeah.
Then there was another incredible game. This is one of those games that stand out in the season. The 3-2 victory over Bournemouth, when Bournemouth scored after about 15 seconds. And then, you know, Arsenal had to try and come back. Then they went 2-0 up, right? And Arsenal got one back. Then they went 3-1. And then, they went 2-1 up. Then Arsenal brought it back to 2-2, but we're thinking it's a draw. We've thrown it away. City are top. And then on comes Reece Nelson with that incredible last-second goal. That was a moment. The stadium nearly took off.
Done exceptionally well that day. Because do you remember who got injured? I think, did Trossard get injured very early? And we had to bring on Smith Rowe. And Smith Rowe
created the second goal.
He assisted. Then he took him off, sub for a sub, which was a difficult decision. Brought on Reece Nelson, and it was a game changer.
Reece Nelson, that goal. That's one of my favourite moments of the season. The stadium was rocking. Big up the Emirates, man. This season, it was rocking. It was absolutely rocking. Then we went and beat Fulham 3-0 away from home.
And this is the last. That was it for me. This is the game now.
What?
We was absolutely outstanding on this day. But that's the last time you're going to see a certain Saliba. Didn't know it at the time.
Yep, because we then had a game against Sporting.
And if you remember rightly, that was Jesus returning as well.
Yeah.
So has come on as a substitute, and we thought, wow.
That game was
to play as well as what we did.
Because the game that he actually, Saliba, it was the 16th of March. We played Sporting. That's when we went out of the Europa League. Drew 1-1 with them at home, lost on penalties, and Saliba went off in that game and never to be seen since.
And Tomiyasu as well.
And Tomiyasu, we lost Tomiyasu. So that was like March. So for the last 2 months of the season now, we're going to have to play without those guys.
Yeah. And
we were going to feel it. We beat Crystal Palace at home 4-1
in
our following game. We then played Leeds. We beat them 4-1.
International break was then with it, and this is the one.
And then we go away to Liverpool. Now, a lot of people saying if we could beat Liverpool, this could be the moment when it could really, really happen. 2-0 up. Honestly, I was buzzing, man. I was jumping up and down. I was like, could this be the moment that we finally beat Liverpool? Just like we haven't beaten Tottenham for ages away. We were playing so well, but then Liverpool, they get back into the game. A lot of people say that little incident with Granit Xhaka. I think that's been overplayed, because Liverpool was sort of coming back into it before then. And and Liverpool did manage to come back. And actually,
89th equaliser.
Yeah, 89th minute equaliser. Zinchenko gets done. And actually, in the end, I was kind of just like, let's just keep it 2-2.
Yeah.
It's looking like they could get a third, you know what I mean? And they could have got a third. I think it's Konate missed a chance, didn't he?
Well, I missed it. I think Aaron Ramsdale had two unbelievable saves, one from Salah and one from him. But that for me was the gut. I was in Dubai then when I watched that game with Steven Gerrard. It was unbelievable. Yeah. And I felt, and I still say it to this day, that was the game. If we'd have gone on to win that game, I tell you what, I was watching it with Steven Gerrard, but also Cass was over there. And I've never said Arsenal were going to win the league. Blah, 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 blah. When we was 2-0 up and playing like we was, I turned around and I said, oh my God, I think we can win it. We was that good. I think that was I started believing that we could win the title. 2 minutes later, Salah scored, and it was the end of it. But I knew Arsenal weren't going to win. And I said it all along. I come away and I remember like Michelle saying to me, "Why are you know?" And I said, "Nah, we ain't going to win the league now from here." Like, you know what I mean? I knew we weren't going to win it from that game there.
And then the following week, 2-0 up again. Again, absolutely cruising, playing some unbelievable football. Then we throw away another.
I had the ump at half time. He was going, look, chill out and all that. And I said, no.
It's 2-1 at half time.
2-1 at half time. And I looked at that game. Honestly, that first 10, 15 minutes, it was great because a couple of my West Ham mates, Hugh and Callum, were, funny enough, right next to us, like, you know, but obviously in the, and they were giving it a bit before, and I said, you wait till you see this Arsenal team, you wait. And after 20 minutes, they actually said, oh my God, you're going to beat us 5, it's going to be 5 or 6. We were so good. In the end, you know, we was, I don't say lucky to win it, but I'll get a draw out of it or whatever. But that was, they were gone. I've never seen
and then
West
even
Ham
remember, 2-0, they get one back. We get a penalty.
Yeah.
And Saka had been so reliable on penalties, misses it. And you start to think to yourself, it really deflated you. Then the following week now, this was the next one in the series. This is where, imagine 3 games in a row we draw. Draw to Southampton. Southampton at home. Rock bottom of the Premier League. Of course, they went on to get relegated. Again.
Was it 2-2 down in
3-1
down? Yeah, 3-1 down.
Yeah, we're down in seconds, then 2-0 down, then 3.
Yeah, 2-1, 3-1, wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
And that was it then.
Unbelievable.
That was you know, you knew that Arsenal had gone then.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Now you think about it, the next game after that is, and we had to go and face Man City, and just go and, you know, it's all about sometimes momentum. When you look at a season, momentum and form. Had we have won those 3 games, which we should have done, should have beaten Liverpool 2-0 up, we should have won that game. Should have held on, defended, and maybe if Saliba would have been playing, this is the difference in margins. Maybe if you'd had a Saliba in there, it would have been a bit calmer. We could have held on for that 2-0. Would have went away to, that would have given us the belief, because I truly believe that it was playing on their minds, Arsenal, that they'd thrown away the 2-0 lead.
If we'd have won that game, I think.
Then they go and then the one that was really criminal was the one at Southampton. So you go into like the biggest game really of the season against Man City away with no confidence, 3 draws in a row. Confidence is gone, and
I have to say
we got tucked in.
I have to say,
4-1.
We went up there, didn't we? And we was thinking, like, let's put in a performance of that. After 1 minute, I knew we weren't going to win. We got. They absolutely. Yeah. It was the worst 90 minutes of football I've seen for a very, very long while. When you knew that we weren't winning the game. Yeah. It was just like, you know, they weren't even going to get a draw out of it. They were just. Yeah, they were dominant. It was just an awful game to watch.
And again, following that game, they went top of the league again. Remember the last time they went top of the league? Because a lot of people forget that, you know. They'd gone top of the league earlier on by beating us, but then they slipped up and allowed us to come back into it and move back top of the league. But we followed that up with a 3-1 win over Chelsea.
Yeah, good response.
You know, we played really, really well, good response. Then we went away to Newcastle, where everybody was like, well, that's it. The league's going to be totally over, because Arsenal got no chance of beating Newcastle away. Newcastle have only lost one game at home all season against Liverpool. They'll dispatch of Arsenal pretty easily. Arsenal went there, put in another great performance, beating Newcastle by 2-0. Remember, a place that was like on fire. Very, very impressive away. Probably that and Tottenham, the two best away performances of the season.
And probably Tottenham, but I have to say that the Newcastle one, because Newcastle were on fire at the time, like third in the league, to go to one of the top teams in the country at that moment in time. When you look back on it, Newcastle, if they won that game, were virtually guaranteed to get the Champions League.
They had a lot to play for as well.
Lots to play for, which we found out with other teams later on what that meant. They knew they could nail it, and we went there and put in that sort of performance. And a lot of Newcastle fans afterwards, or we were speaking to, were turning around and going, "Oh, we've got a bit of a worry now getting." I said, "No, you'll get Champions League football," but they was a little bit cautious of it. We went up there. I think Jorginho played absolutely outstandingly well there. Xhaka, that tackle. I remember that. Like, and do you know what? The one thing that spoils it for me about Newcastle, and I will keep digging it out and digging it out. People turn around and go, "Oh, what a wonderful atmosphere it is there," and it probably is. But you don't feel it up that. Because you're so high up, you don't really get what the atmosphere is like. You don't get involved in it. You don't get involved in it. They've got to sort that out. Please sort that out, Newcastle, because it is a wonderful. It's spoiling what would be a wonderful away trip. It's a wonderful place to go. And it's a great stadium, but you don't appreciate it. You don't appreciate it. And when I look at, someone says, "Oh, it's a great atmosphere," well, it weren't for me, because when I went to Nottingham Forest, the next game, you was surrounded by it, and even though that they're giving it to you, there was something special about it. But you don't get there.
That wasn't actually the next game. The next game was Brighton.
Oh my God!
Now, if you remember rightly, what happened was that Newcastle game had given a little glimmer of hope. We were sort of like, a little glimmer that if Man City slip up against Everton, because they were playing Everton earlier in the day.
In between that Real Madrid semi-final.
And then they had, in between the semi-finals against Real Madrid, like, if this could be the moment.
Well, that was the game I thought.
They could slip up. And they went there and they battered. They battered Everton.
That was the game.
I remember walking to the stadium after that game was sort of like...
deflated, weren't we?
Yeah, like, well, it don't even matter what happens today. We've got no chance. The league's gone now. That's it. It's officially gone. City are going to win the league. City are going to win the league.
We had that little bit of hope that that Everton game was the one that could do it. They bullied us, a little bit further, and they might make a few changes and all that. But that was a day for me when
they won it.
I just thought that was outstanding.
We played against Brighton, and it was a real. I remember the first half was a real nothing first half. You could see it affected the players a bit. That they looked deflated. The fans were a bit deflated. We all knew that the league had gone. And then in Brighton, you're playing a team that's got a lot to play for, right? They're trying to get into Europe for the first time in their history. Ended up losing the game 3-0. I was a bit upset with that performance, because I just felt that, Arsenal, all right, I know you're affected by the performance earlier on, but go out there and play your game. And then followed it up with another defeat away at Nottingham Forest. Again, all right, the league's totally gone by that time. We know that City have won the league, but just for a bit of pride. But again, we came up against a Nottingham Forest that, they knew that if they win, they're absolutely desperate. They know if they win the game, they're staying in the Premier League. They put everybody behind the ball, and they caught us, Martin Odegaard with a real uncharacteristic mistake, and they punished us, beat us 1-0 in the game, and that was it. The league is completely gone. And then, City got the league without even having to kick a ball, which I found.
It was a difficult one.
After all that hard work and what we've just described throughout the season, for City to win the league without kicking a ball, we should have made them go all the way. But they didn't have to go all the way. And in the final game of the season against Wolves, Arsenal won that game by 5-0. And that was a season. The funny thing is that when you go through that season, there's not a lot of.
Well, it's only two games.
It's that period. It's these 3 games, right?
3 games.
Liverpool 2-2, West Ham 2-2, Southampton 3-3. It's those 3 games I feel that lost us the league.
Yeah, and
3 out of 9.
Out of what? So 38 league games there. 4 games I've been disappointed with Arsenal. That would have been Everton game away, the Brentford game, Southampton at home, and
Brighton at home.
Notts Forest, Brighton. Yeah, so Nottingham Forest, Brighton, Everton. Yeah, and so 34 games. You know, all right, we lost a couple in there like City and United and all that, but at the end of it, I weren't annoyed. You know, like when you think like you could do more, I felt. So that ain't bad, really, when you think about it.
You look at it overall like that, you actually think to yourself, wow, we had a really good season. You know what I mean? We didn't really lose a lot. We put in a lot of great performances throughout the season, but we still finished second best. And the task now is to what do we do to, you know, we lost the league by 5 points. And basically, it kind of boiled down to the fact that City beat us home and away. So when I look at next season, I say to myself, I remember going into this season, I said, what I want to see from Arsenal, and I was aiming for the top 4. But I was like, ultimately what I want to see Arsenal do is challenge for the league, which they did do. And I remember though, some of the sort of markers that I had in my head that I'd love to see Arsenal do this season is go away from home and take some big scalps. We haven't, over the past few years, we go to Tottenham, we lose, we go to United, we lose, City, Liverpool, all these places, Chelsea, but we improved that this year. We went away to Tottenham, we won. We beat Chelsea away from home. We won away from home a lot. Still didn't overcome United away from home, but it was, you know, it wasn't like we got, you know, we didn't beat City away from home. We beat Tottenham away from home, but we didn't beat who else was it? We didn't beat Man United, City and Liverpool. But with the Liverpool one, I was heartened by that because it's still we didn't go there and get, you know, what normally happens, just go there and get swatted away. So this season, or so the next season, I feel that it's about doing that again, going away and taking big scalps away from home and keeping that away from home and keeping that away form going, being really strong away from home. But this season, or the season coming, we've got to beat City. We've in at least 1 out of the 2 games, I feel, to have a chance of winning the league, you have to beat them at least once.
Yeah, and that's what
I feel.
That's what I feel. I feel now we've over the last sort of season, like last season, we've been competing with Spurs, Man United, etc. and all that. Like, forget about Liverpool because I thought Liverpool were a bit above and beyond. But what we've got to do now is look at it this summer and say, right, who are we competing with, and who we're competing with now, and the team we've got to run down is Manchester City. So in the transfer window, it's not about competing with the likes of Manchester United and Liverpool and all that. It's we're coming for you. You are the team at the top, and we're aiming for you. We're not aiming for, you know, we're going for the bullseye, or double top, or the triple. We are going for you. And the one thing we've got to do that in the summer is get this recruitment right, where it's got to be top notch players. Yeah. Top notch players, Robbie, cost money. Yeah. No skin flinting. I'm unbelievably. I went to the shop yesterday to get the old Arsenal top, you know, like training top, sold out. The goalkeeping jersey sold out. They can't put them up on the shelves quick enough to be sold out, like, you know. And they're expensive, the shirts and all that. They're asking us to pay all this money. Season tickets have gone up. Do you know when, which is an ironic thing, and this is how good our season was when you think about it, like, when none of us celebrated the top 4. The only time that I knew that we was guaranteed top 4 when I got an email coming up, Mr. Judges, now Champions League football has been confirmed, just to say that your season ticket price will be going up. That's the first I knew about it, right? Was from an email from the club. Thank you very much. But what I'm saying is that we are now paying a lot more this season. Get your finger out, Arsenal. Get the business done early like you did last season. I think because that's what guaranteed us getting to top 4. Get it done early, get these big players in, and let's all get excited for the summer, because I'll tell you what, we was excited last season for the season to start by missing out on top 4. Now we want to be excited going in. And I'm sorry, Robbie, I don't want to be making up the numbers in the Champions League.
No, nor do I.
I'm sorry, I don't want to hear that theme tune and then we go out and I expect us to build a squad that can challenge for that as well. Exactly that.
I mean, listen, I'm realistic enough to know that we ain't going to win the Champions League. But I want to go into that and I want to make a good fight of that.
I want to be in it. I want to be in the
group. I think if Arsenal get out of the group and I'd say if they can get beyond the last 16, they would have had a successful first time back in the Champions League.
Well, you know what I mean, but I want us challenging for it. But you know what I mean? I don't want
to do that. You got to have a good squad. You know what I mean? And as well, you know what we're going to have, which we didn't have last year. It's not the Europa League where you can play kids and stuff like that, and little half teams here and half teams there. We're going to have to go full pelt in that Champions League, 100%. Then come back again at the weekend and have a big game. You know what I mean? So we've got to make sure that this summer, like you said, we make signings that enables us to have a really good squad. Now, not every signing has to be a mega name, right? And I trust in what they've done 100%. Over the past few years. They've brought in certain players that you're like, well, he's not a mega name, but some of those players have proved to be our best players, right? But I do feel that there's a couple of players that we're looking at of real top quality that they know you're going to have to go and spend the big bucks for.
We're going up a level, Robbie.
We're going up a level, but I don't think there's any excuse. You know what I mean? We're in the Champions League now. We're a massive club. We've had a great season. There's a lot to be excited about if you're a player on the outside about coming to Arsenal. It's not just that, oh, Thierry Henry used to play for them back in the day. You know what I mean? You can see the club's got a good manager. The support at the Emirates and away from home is absolutely outstanding. And there's Champions League football, and we have the money, right? So all of a sudden, Arsenal started to move how we've wanted them to move. If we're gonna go that step further and challenge for the league again and win the league, we've got to make these proper additions. Because if we don't, Liverpool are gonna strengthen. Chelsea have bought in Pochettino. They're gonna have to do better than what they did last year. Newcastle,
yeah.
Manchester United, you know what I mean? There's talk of them trying to get Harry Kane and players like that. They're going to go again big. Man City, I saw yesterday they're linked to a move to Kovacic. They're making moves already. We got to be at it this season. We've got to be at it. We've got to be, because, you know, every one of these teams in the Premier League have got big money, right? But we've got to make the right signings. If we do make them right signings, we can really have another good season, because that, I think last season is the starting of progress.
Yeah, and with that comes pressure, Robbie, and so there's going to be pressure on Edu now this summer. There's going to be pressure on Arteta going into next season, and rightly so. But what we've got to do is, listen, like last season, we challenged for the league. We haven't done that for a very, very long while. But like now, we're going into the Champions League. And we're going into the. I want us to be challenging. I'm not saying we've got a divine right to win anything, but what I don't want to be going to Munich and Barcelona and places like that thinking, if we can keep it down to 3 or 4. Yeah. I want us going there thinking that we can go. Every single ground I've gone to this season, and I mean this sincerely, even Manchester City, because of the players and I believe in them, I felt we could win the game. Yeah. Whether we did or we didn't is another thing. But I gone to every ground this season.
First time I felt like that for about 15 years.
Thank you. Yeah. Thinking that we can win every game. And I want that in the Champions League. Last season, I was hoping, if we can get a draw at Liverpool, we might get this, might get that. Do you know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, thinking we're going to lose, deep down, you know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't feel that once this season. So thank you, the players, for giving me that opportunity to go to every ground this season thinking we're going to win home and away. I want that next season for the Champions League and the league again. I don't want to be going to it's a fantastic trip in Barcelona, but we lost 4-0. I don't want that. And if that does happen, consequences have got to be said about it. The thing is now, and what Mikel has done, and people don't really appreciate this, and I can get the people criticising that, he has raised the bar to the expectations of what it should be at Arsenal Football Club, right? But now what he's got to do is maintain that bar and keep it going, tough job, but that's what it's going to come to. And for me, I don't want no more of these excuses no more. Like, you know what I mean? Next season, you have got an opportunity in this summer, Mr. Edu and Arsenal Football Club, to get the best players here, because you have got Champions League flag with you as well. This is your opportunity this summer to really nail the players that we need to push us towards Manchester City, not push us towards the pack of the others. If the others catch up, that's fine. You know what I mean? If they do that, you know, that's good luck to them. You know, they're all trying to do that. But we have got to have players. When we go to that first game of the season, we're going to go, wow, we got a real good chance of winning the league. When we go to a Champions League game, we've got a good chance of winning this game. And that is what this summer is all about now, as far as I'm concerned.
Your best memory of the season, quickly.
Best memory, got to be
best moment.
Best moment, the Reece Nelson goal.
Yeah,
without a shadow.
For me as well. Best player.
Best player, Odegaard.
I agree. I'll go Odegaard as well. All right. And what would you rate the season out of 10?
League season 8 out of 10.
Yeah. All right.
The whole of it, because of the cup defeats and things like that, 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
But you know, all in all, to challenge for the title, I never thought we was going to do that, and we have. You know what I mean? It's not what we wanted, but it's a start.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the season review. That was it. 2022-2023. Let us know what your best moment of the season was as well, and let us know what you thought of the season, and also give us your ratings on the season in the comments below. But that's it. The season's over. The season's done. We look forward to the new season. We look forward to what we're going to do in the transfer window. It's going to be really, really important. Don't forget, you can catch me every day with Transfer Daily, starting from the 14th of June, keeping you up to date with the players that have been linked with a move to Arsenal. It's a massive, massive summer for Arsenal. We need to go that next step, and you can only do that by getting better players.
It's wind-up season. It's wind-up season.
Let's see what we do. We're going to be here, of course, right throughout the season. The you know, sort of the pre-season here with the Invincible podcast as well, right? So make sure you check us out each and every week here on AFTV. Lee,
been a pleasure.
Enjoy your summer, mate. Even though you'll be back here next week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. We are back, but who's coming in? Could we be bringing in the next Dennis Bergkamp? Or maybe the new Thierry Henry? Whoever it is, we'll be keeping you updated here on AFTV every single day from when the window opens on the 14th of June till the 1st of September when the window shuts. Right here on Transfer Daily, the original. Check it out here. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.